All right, let's just jump right into this. Picture this. A massive tech company drops news of a single deal. It's so big and so secretive that it basically sends Wall Street into a complete tailspin. Well, that company is Broadcom, and we're talking about a $10 billion mystery that might just redraw the entire map of the AI world. The second this news hit, boom. This is what happened. Broadcom stock just skyrocketed, jumping up by as much as 15% before the market even opened. I mean, that is an absolutely explosive reaction. We're talking billions added to the company's value, like overnight. All of it riding on the promise of this one single deal. And here it is, the number at the center of this whole thing, $10 billion. Now get this. This isn't from a bunch of different clients. This is one huge order for custom AI chips from one single, unnamed customer. So, that immediately raises the question, what on earth is happening in AI right now that makes one single deal worth that much money? To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to look at the company right in the middle of it all, Broadcom. So, let's talk about Broadcom for a second. Because you might know them as a chip company, sure, but they've been making a massive, kind of quiet bet, steering their entire ship right into the heart of this AI boom. And wow, is that bet paying off. Their latest earnings report was just a monster. They pulled in almost $16 billion in revenue for the quarter. That completely blew past what all the analysts were expecting. And it really set the stage for their big AI moment. And if you want to know what's fueling that fire, here it is. Their AI-related revenue surged by a wild 63%. This just goes to show you, AI isn't some little side project for them anymore. It's fast becoming the main engine of the entire company. And you know what adds fuel to that fire? Stability. The CEO, Hock Tan, he's come out and said he's sticking around to run the show for the rest of the decade. In an industry that moves as fast as this one, that kind of steady hand at the wheel gives investors a whole lot of confidence. Okay, so we've established Broadcom is absolutely crushing it in AI. But that brings us right back to that $10 billion question. Who in the world is this mystery buyer placing this absolutely gigantic order? Well, Broadcom itself is being super quiet about it, but if you start following the clues, they all seem to be pointing in one very specific direction. If you start connecting the dots, one name keeps popping up: OpenAI. The Financial Times had already reported a link between the two for a chip project in 2026. And it just makes sense, right? OpenAI desperately needs custom hardware to stay ahead of the game and rely less on outside suppliers. Everything about this aligns with what Broadcom's CEO has been saying, and it fits this bigger trend of tech giants wanting to build their own silicon. You have to understand, this deal is so much bigger than just Broadcom and a secret partner. What we're seeing here could be a major shakeup in the entire multi-billion-dollar market for AI hardware. A real challenger is stepping into the ring. The key piece of tech here is something called an ASIC, and the analogy on the screen is perfect. Think of it like getting a custom-tailored suit versus just buying one off the rack. A general chip can do a lot of things pretty well, but an ASIC? It's designed to do one specific thing, like run a particular AI model, with unbelievable speed and efficiency. So here's the real game changer. It's the difference between these custom ASICs and the general-purpose GPUs from companies like Nvidia that have kind of ruled the AI world so far. ASICs, which are Broadcom's specialty, are just way more efficient. They use less power for the job they're built for. And that is exactly why a company like OpenAI would spend billions on them. It gives them a huge edge in performance and, maybe more importantly, in cost. And this is what makes Broadcom the perfect partner to pull this off. I mean, they're already so deeply woven into the fabric of our tech. Something like 85% of data centers running AI already use Broadcom stuff. And 80% of 5G smartphones, they've got Broadcom parts inside. They're basically part of the foundation. All right, so let's pull back and look at the big picture here. What does all of this actually mean? What are the big takeaways from this huge, mysterious deal? For anyone who's trying to keep up with the AI space, this story is actually a great little roadmap. First, you have to look at the fundamentals, right? That 63% jump in AI revenue, that's a real number. Second, you watch for huge catalysts, and believe me, a $10 million deal is a pretty massive signal. Third, you've got to understand the tech. And finally, remember this, the AI boom is way bigger than just one company. There are a lot of players in this game. And it's so important to see that this deal didn't just happen out of the blue. It's part of this really clear pattern, this incredible momentum. From their AI revenue quadrupling earlier in the year to multiple stock surges, Broadcom has been building towards this. This mystery deal, it's just the next really powerful chapter in that story. And that brings us to the final thought, the big question hanging over everything. For years, one company has been the undisputed king of AI chips. But now, with giants like OpenAI looking for custom solutions and partnering with powerhouses like Broadcom, you just have to ask, is this it? Is this the deal that finally means a true challenger has stepped into the ring to take on Nvidia? The answer to that could really define the next decade of AI.